Hello and welcome everyone, my name's Kepkan and today we're going to be talking about Necropolis League and 3.25, how the next league should start off and what should be the mechanic of it. So basically, I have some thoughts about how Necropolis went down pretty badly. We do know that this is the worst in terms of retention league of them all. Numbers are not really great of people playing the game. Especially from charts that we can see from Steam. These numbers are not 100%, but they are somewhat percentage-wise statistically representative of the popularity of the league. And Necropolis was not really a success, even with all the core changes to the game. So basically, what was changed, if you're unfamiliar or maybe you forgot already, scarabs were reworked. We got tier 17 maps. We got a revamped way of getting access to Uber bosses. Some additional transfigure gems, some changes to the balance of the game, just all the things that are quite regular, but introducing a new tier of maps, going through all these mechanic changes with scarabs and how you interact with the game in general in terms of all the additional content that you can add to your maps should have been pretty significant changes, and some of them were pretty good, some of them were not really, but the Necropolis mechanic itself probably felt the worst in terms of why people left as fast as they did. Yeah, and basically I have one fast point about it. Necropolis was too much of a forced mechanic on people in terms of the difficulty. This is its first minus, and the second minus is that you can craft some complicated stuff with Necropolis crafting mechanic, and not many people want to do that. That's just basically it. You need to create your garden-esque graveyard with the right corpses in the right places. You need to micromanage buying corpses if you're playing on a trade league, buying, selling them. They are quite in an awful state in terms of how you do with all those coffers and stuff. Especially it was bad on the start of the league whenever you had to pay for those. You didn't have an automatic way to itemize the corpses that you were just looting in the map, and you weren't really planning to use yourself. The maximum amount of corpses that you can have in your graveyard was quite low too. It's still quite low. Just in general, the mechanic had a lot of bloat. It at least for the average players, those were a bloat, and it has kinda unrewarding for, yet again, regular person who does not really want to engage with all those specific crafting parts. Very yeah, the way that you craft things with corpses and with graveyard is very outstanding, and you need to put a lot of thought into it, and you need to put a lot of research into knowing how to place everything in your graveyard, and that's why it was just it has very high barrier to entry. You need to put a lot of time into it. You need to put a lot of time into crafting one single item. You do not really gain a lot of additional goodies from those corpses and stuff. There are all flames, and all flames as a mechanic is way better, but with how the difficulty of the league was forced on people, especially on a trade league where most of items that you can drop, like alteration orbs or chromatic orbs, are completely useless, and people don't really want to pick them in order to gain a lot of money. These things are not really valuable, and many modifiers that you gain, devoted modifiers that you gain from the mechanic, is kinda useless, and it's kinda only additional difficulty, and it's not really the reward behind the difficulty. It's just mostly the difficulty. So yeah, these are the main problems of 3.24, and it is not the first time that this occurs. Harvest, whenever it was presented as it was with the garden mechanic, was similar thing, And people didn't really like to engage with all those things where you needed to get all the juice on your plants, then repurpose everything, then get additional stages of it and stuff like that. People don't really want to do that in an ARPG. And even though I am for experiments from GGG in terms of how they create and manage their gameplay mechanics, this one is for sure not the way. Even Synthesis, which yet again had pretty low retention rate, was a lot of micromanagement, a lot of this system bloat, even though the mechanic itself from the outsider point I'm sorry, looked quite interesting. So yeah, now what do grinding your games need to do in 3.25? In my opinion, it should be kind of a simpler league for all the people who got worn off with all the overbloat and overstuffing of 3.24, for them to come back and to have quite easy, relaxing time of farming stuff, getting things, maybe yet it being again optional for all people who want to skip it, and be just way less of a you need to look at these points, you need to track all the right packs of monsters that you want to use maybe your all flames on, then you need to collect all the corpses, click on them, then you need to head to your graveyard and put all those corpses and calculate which one lies where and all the best options for you to craft the item. Then you need to craft the item, you wait for the animation to go, then you need to take parts of your like some of your corpses into the tradable state, and then you trade them. And it's like, it's so much parts of the game where you're not playing the game, you're not farming maps, and you cannot really ignore the mechanic itself because it puts more pressure, more difficulty on you. Yeah, that's definitely not the way for them to go. What I do think they need to do for 3.25 though is, yeah, we've already had like 5 breach types of leagues, and maybe it's quite unhealthy for the game to receive one additional. And I'm sure that GGG know a lot of types of gameplay loops that they can add that would be way easier, way simpler than Necropolis was, and that are not just another type of breach. But maybe something like treasure boxes, but from the other side, something quite similar and quite I don't know for sure, but what I do really know is that it should be quite easy and simple. Like, you're clicking on the chest, things are spawning, you killing them, and then you get all the loot from it. And you can juice that up, you can not click it if it's not juiced, and you would not lose too much, and you would not add a lot of difficulty to your maps. That one sounds quite cool. Yeah, so I hope that 3.25 will be way better in those terms, and I hope that tier 17s and all the other core changes to the game that made the game a bit either worse or they were kinda iffy, I hope these things are patched up too, and they're made better. And I do think that there should be some changes to tier 17s. Not a lot of people have I'm not gonna put it like that. Many people have divided opinions on tier 17s, and there are quite a lot of people. I'm not gonna say it's the most. It's like most of the player base, but a lot of people don't really like them with how they are very rewarding, but they are not really interesting, or they are only for some particular builds to farm them. And if you're not playing that build, you feel like you're wasting time. So there are many different parts in here, and I do hope that it's gonna be done way better. Thanks for watching and for listening. Yeah, bye.